Hey students, so this next unit we are going to be looking at early American literature, and we're going to be looking at their persuasive arguments through the rhetorical triangle, which is composed of ethos, pathos, and logos, which is basically the author's credibility, the emotions behind the text, and the logic and evidence of a text. So here we've got this basic rhetorical triangle. So you can see how all of these three things are balanced in any good persuasive argument. So we've got the ethos with the credibility of the author. So basically, your author who is either making the propaganda or the argument or the speech is trustworthy on the subject that they're presenting on and is using a tone that's appropriate to the situation. Logic is, or the logos, is referring to reasoning or argumentation. So that's presenting facts, figures, case studies, any evidence that can truly back it up to just, make sense to your audience. Like that's the obvious way and, a logical argument, basically. And then we've got pathos, or the emotion behind it. So this is emotional or imaginative impact on the audience. So it's stories, it's a personal connection, it's things that we care about. You can see over here in this little graphic, I go into more examples of those appeals. So continuing with pathos, we've got heartwarming stories, personal experiences, humorous jokes, pitiful photographs, things like that. If you're talking about puppies and babies and family and whatever you're emotional about. Logos, we've got statistics, facts, reasonable arguments, logical organization of information. So if your big arguments on, we'll just say global warming, your logic would be the stats the scientists have presented. Your pathos would be the fact that our earth is going to die and we're not going to have all these things that we like right now. That's not going to be there for the future generations, things like that. And then if you were doing a global warming thing, it would be maybe coming from a scientist who does research on it. And that would be the credibility of the author, the ethos. So quotes from professionals, customer reviews, celebrity endorsements, personal qualifications. So it's like you personally are qualified to speak on that. So maybe like a personal qualification would be somebody who lives on the coast, who has seen way more hurricanes and has seen the water levels go up because of global warming. Or maybe somebody who works at the North Pole or whatever, or Antarctica, who has seen the ice being melted. So things like that. So here's some more examples of some ethos. So here's an advertisement with LeBron for Nike. So he's advertising these shoes. He's clearly a professional basketball player. So if anybody knows what good basketball shoes should be like, it should be LeBron. So that's displaying his ethos. And over here in this little cell phone graphic is the principal saying, as your principal, I warn you not to use cell phones in this class. Again, this is prohibited. This shows that, the principal is the person who out of anybody could tell you that you're not allowed to do something. So he automatically has credibility to tell students not to use their phones. So some examples of pathos. I got to kind of put myself in the middle up here for this slide. In this cartoon, let's check it out. You wouldn't let your child smoke. Like smoking, eating meat increases the risk of heart disease and cancer. So just seeing this image of this kid with a cigar is pretty graphic. We don't want children to be smoking, or we don't want to expose them to any thing that would be harmful to them. So PETA, who is trying to get you to go vegan, is, portraying meat in a way that's just like smoking. And so we will have an emotional response to that. Over here, the teacher in this scenario says about the cell phone use, can you imagine how it would feel if others used phones while you were talking? This is all about respect. So she's trying to make her students empathize with, you want to respect people just like you want people to respect you, to have an emotional reaction. Once again, examples of pathos. Here we've got some logos examples. On the right, we've got some teacher, we'll say it's another teacher. It says, actually, research shows that students who don't look at their phones score 23% better on exams. So instead of going the emotional route, like, oh, it's all about respect and blah, 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 it's like, look, the evidence says that you will personally do better if you do not look at your stupid phone. So he's trying to get the logical argument. And down at this advertisement, it's definitely got some pathos with the skull and then the child's face, but it's also got the stats. So hit at 40 miles per hour, there's a 70% chance I'll die. And hit at 30 miles per hour, there's an 80% chance I'll live. That's why it's 30. So they're reinforcing, hey, you should not speed through 30 mile per hour zones, because if you hit a kid, you're probably going to kill him. And imagine what that's like. Look at this little child's face and imagine him dead, which that's the pathos. But the logos is here. Hey, you will kill him or you won't, probably. What do you want to live with? It's logical. All right, so after this, you are going to have some video advertisements. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to open these slides in the assignment on your copy and just play them for yourself. I'm not going to play all of them. They are campaign advertisements. Maybe you've seen them. I took them directly from the official Donald Trump and Joe Biden YouTube accounts. So these are out there. I want us to analyze them. So when you are watching these video advertisements, think about, are there emotional appeals? So are they using loaded language, graphics, or emotional situations? What's the music? What are the graphics? Just period. What might evoke some emotional response from their viewers, and how are they playing into that? How about the logic? So are they appealing to logic? Do they include facts, statistics, or graphs? How can you fact check their data? So a lot of the times, like let's just say, oh, politicians will make statements. I'm going to provide affordable healthcare, right? But when they're campaigning, the problem is that we don't really know what they're actually going to do until you get in office. So you just have to hope that they're going to follow through. So really how you can check their data either for them or against their other opponent would be to be checking theirs or the opponent's websites, whatever it corresponds with. And then do they have credentials? So how are the speakers / authors qualified? Are they professionals? Now that's kind of a judgment call on you, especially with politicians, but what are they ready to speak on any of these subjects? So like I said, you'll go to your own website or your own slides, and you'll just click and start to play these videos. You should be able to play them just like that, okay? So first one is about Donald Trump in a positive light. And then the second one is about Joe Biden in a positive light. So what their campaign has released to sell their message. And then this one looks so silly. So this is what I'm talking about, images. This one is about Joe Biden, but by the Trump campaign. You can see it's by Donald Trump, J. Trump up here. And then this one is by Biden and was released by his campaign too. Or this one actually says dog lovers for Joe or something. Those are two very different ones, but I wanted to do one that was supporting, them supporting themselves, and then one that was kind of against the other guy. So let me know what you think, guys.